If you have a bunch of Canon lenses that you bought with your hard-earned money when you started your photography journey, and throughout the years you have adapted some vintage lenses which you adapted to the Canon system and bought some expensive and sharp Canon lenses, now you want to use them on your Fuji XT20. So what do? Your classic 5D doesn't do video, but your Fuji can do it in 4K. You also have other accessories for your lenses such as variable ND filters and CPL filters for your expensive Canon lenses, L class, and you don't want them to go to waste just because you moved to Fuji system. So what do? You buy the Viltrox EF-FX1 adapter. Now this is I bought this new for 17,500 BDT, which is about $130 US. So in the packaging, when you open it up, you can see there is a firmware update system. It's the old USB, and that's the Canon mount placement. And back here you have the Fuji mount system, and as you can see, it will translate your Fuji data into EF data, and there is no lens in between this, so this is hollow completely, so all the light goes through. This is not a light booster. So I'm attaching this to my XT20, and as you can see, it fits perfectly. So I'm gonna use the Canon 40mm f2.8, which is a very sharp lens in the Canon lineup. There are adapters in the market around $50 you can get similar to this without the autofocus ability, but digital lenses like this one controls both focus ring and aperture electronically, and this is your only option. Fuji XT20 has one of the best autofocusing system out there, sometimes better than Canon's newer 70 cameras. Now what I have here is a 40-year-old Yashica lens adapted to the Canon system, which has been adapted to the Fuji X-mount using the Viltrox adapter. This is when it gets really fun to use. It is a 70 to 200mm f4.5 constant aperture zoom lens. I'm going to point it at these construction workers, and let's see how it looks at 210mm, a 40-year-old lens. Doesn't look that bad, does it? Now any kind of adapter or extender will effectively increase the focal length a little. Also, Fuji XT20 being a crop camera is only using the center part of these lenses, which is fine in my opinion, since that is where most of the sharpness are. Now let's talk about quality. It has full metal construction, and the paint used almost matches the paint of the XT20, so it doesn't look out of place and actually makes the camera look badass. Now let's get on to actually using it and see how it performs. Here is the GoPro Hero 8 that I reviewed in the last video, and if you are wondering what's it recording, here is a preview. Now sometimes when you have a lot of light like I have today, the lenses needs to automatically reduce its aperture to allow you to see live view on the display. The Viltrox adapter translates all that data to the Canon lens as well. Now this is not a paid review of any kind. I only share information I would find useful. I purchase all my hardware with my hard-earned cash. It's my way of giving back to the photography community. Now let's take some photos. If you have a small pancake lens like this one, I believe you can get it cheaper than some Fuji non-alternatives, and I still have the great portability you get with the Fuji system. Plus you can hold it with 2 fingers. Honestly, at this point I'm surprised how good Canon lenses look on this Fuji XT20. It actually looks like an old film camera, and the Canon XT20 fits perfectly in this tiny bag I have, and I can carry it around without any trouble. Now for $130 you can get some good used Fuji lenses in the second-hand market, but this adapter is not about buying more lenses, rather using the existing lenses you have and accessories you already own. This will save you a lot of gear acquisition syndrome and money. Plus, if you are anything like me who likes vintage lenses, then they are much easier to adapt to Nikon or Canon than the Fuji X system, so this opens up a lot of options from the used vintage lens market in the long run. The pins on the Fuji side takes the X system data and translate it to Canon data. If a new Canon lens comes out, then you can just simply update the firmware and you will be ready to go. Although I found one problem, that focusing to infinity takes 2 or 3 tries, but That's mostly due to lighting conditions, and in the Fuji XT20 you have to assign a mount adapter value of say 10mm to fix it. Now most of the adapters and macro lenses doesn't work well in the world of macro photography. You perform manual focus anyway, but with digital ones like this one you can use the full-time manual focus even on the autofocus mode, just like you do in Canon, and also get the image stabilization these top-notch Canon lenses provide, although I found no major problems with this adapter. Viltrox also provides a small metal mount for this adapter, which can be used to mount the camera to any tripod. It helps distribute the load away from the heavy lens and a strain on the camera mount. Also, I use it to avoid wrist strains. Canon macro lenses are one of the sharpest lenses out there, especially the L class, and Fuji has one of the best sensor technology out there. This adapter helped me get amazing resolution, sharpness and image quality from the stuff I already own. But if you are going to use this adapter with large Canon lenses, it does impact the whole Fuji portability thing. A workaround is to use non-electronic vintage lenses like this 70-210mm zoom lens from Yashica, which you can still fit inside the bag I have shown earlier. Well, almost. The bag isn't big, but it is much better than having to carry an entire backpack on my shoulders. What I am about to do, I can never do with my full frame 5D. Now this bag is very small. As a reference here is the bag I carry around for my X100V, and here is the Galaxy Note 9 placed on top of it for a size comparison. The adapter truly becomes a different animal when you can use Canon primes or vintage primes like this one. This reminds me so much of the analog film camera days. The tactile response of the aperture ring and the focus ring of the old days that are gone are still a great thing to enjoy, even today. Now I hope you enjoyed the review, and if you like what I'm doing here, please subscribe, and if you need some help or need more information about this adapter, just leave a comment and I'll be happy to answer your questions. If you find my channel useful in some way, then I would highly appreciate it if you guys can subscribe, and have a nice day. I'll leave you with some videos I took with Canon lenses with this adapter. Thank you.